Well, finally, I hope somebody can see me. I've spent the past half hour trying to get the show going, and it looks like I got the chat box up. Got no viewers yet. Somebody please acknowledge me if you can see me. And we got one viewer. Something must be working. Okay, good, man. I was having trouble with Google earlier today, opening a bunch of tabs that I'd previously used, and so I went and cleared some crap and obviously cleared whatever it takes to start the show. I couldn't even log on to the Stunthangar YouTube site. I fumbled around and fell into it finally, and here we are. So um, I posted, and let me double check, make sure I posted the link to the At the Bench thread on Stunthangar. And yeah, it's called Take Two, and the links to the YouTube watch page and to the live feed are both there. So everything should be normal now, or it looks normal anyway, except for all of my controls aren't working. But I'll be damned if I'm going to touch anything until later on when I know we're really up solid and working. So hey Bob, okay, R.W. Bishop came in, says hi bye, back at a while, his usual MO. And Jack Snavely, hey Jack, I'm glad you hung in there and waited for me. I was having one hell of a time getting started tonight, about a half hour late, but looks like it's probably working now. Hey Frank Washburn just joined us. Everybody on YouTube so far. Hadn't got anybody coming in live. We'll find out if that part's even working. It appears to be. I got blinking lights and a live light up at the top, so it looks like we're on. And it's another Friday. It's August now, August the 3rd. Damn, summer's marching fast, and I kind of hate that late summer, you know. And of course, where I live, it'll be summer for another couple of or 3 months. But I just hate to see it going away that fast. We got 9 viewers so far, so maybe we'll salvage something out of the show so far. And I appreciate you guys on the tube coming in. What you up to, Frank? Are you in your shop working on something tonight, or are you away like R.W. Bishop, running back and forth, working on people's computers? I think that's what Bob's doing. But anyway, I'm so rattled now, I don't really have anything to talk about until somebody comes in and visits me. You wish you were in your workshop, is that what you mean? Frank says he wishes. But I texted Sparky, told him I was having problems getting on. He didn't text me back, so I don't know if he even knew I was having trouble. Technical difficulties that I caused all by myself. I wish, the worst part is I wish I knew what I did to fix it. But anyway, I'm happy to be here now. You chill out and get back to drinking my coffee, making slurping noises on the tube. I hope some of our usuals will check back in. I know Gerald emailed me and said he's out shopping and doing all sorts of things with his family. So I emailed him back and told him to be sure and work some fun into it. But he didn't think he was going to be on tonight. So we'll see who comes to play. Frank says I need to finish that B-29 he's building. Building it for a buddy. We got Ron. Hey, Ron, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. You look lonesome, so I figured I'd come talk to you.
Man, I was having a tough time. I'm a half hour late starting the show. I just totally blew my browser, I think. It was getting to where every time I open it, I get a whole bunch of tabs that I've opened in the near past, and I tried to clear that out today. I looked up some simple instructions and followed those about clearing something about Chrome, and that evidently wiped out everything it took to run the show for me to sign into Sparky's YouTube site, and nothing worked like it usually does. And,
hey, Rusty, it's Friday the 3rd, not the 13th.
Well, strike a 1 in front of that 3 because it sure acted like it. I almost hate to say it, but it was one of those days too. But I'm glad to see the video side's working. I'm glad you came in. I appreciate that, and bailed me out. I was talking to Jack Snavely, Bob Bishop, and Frank Washburn over there on the YouTube side. I think Bob had to go off and take care of some business for a while, but that's his usual MO. And Kevin McElroy, hey Kevin, he says he'll be in group after Black Lightning is over in about 15 minutes. Okay, I don't know what Black Lightning is. He can tell us when he comes on. But
I was watching you over on YouTube, and I could see that you were in need of somebody else to talk to for a while.
Good, I appreciate it. I just hope when I go to sign on Monday night that everything will work as planned. I might try to do a test session over the weekend just to see if everything works.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, I have no idea what I screwed up, and I have no idea what I did to fix it. I was just shooting from the hip and just about ready to give it up, and took one more shot at it, and it came up alive.
Well, we had some good flying weather during the week in the mornings. Unfortunately, I was so far behind in all my outside work that I didn't get a chance to go to the field. I had to catch up with cleaning the driveways, the walkways, the plants, watering, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's been working.
Oh, well, that's what happens to a man sometimes. You just can't help that kind of thing, you know?
One of those things that has to be done.
Yeah.
Just suck it up and do it.
Yeah. Then again, there's no time like tomorrow.
If I was ambitious, I'd get started on my peacemakers so that you could finish yours.
Yeah. I think I mentioned the other night, I've been wrong about saying that the lightning streak was the one made for the English market by Aldridge that's similar to the flight streak. It was the Peacemaker. It wasn't it? That's the one.
Well, when he first built that, he had a 15 diesel on it. And then when they released the kit, I think what they did was lengthen the nose just a little bit so that it could make up the difference between the weight of a standard 15 and a diesel 15.
Yeah.
But if you look at it closely, I think the wing on that Peacemaker is almost identical to a flight streak.
Is it really? I'm not
Very close. It's 43 inches.
Yeah, and I think that's probably right. And it's not surprising that they modified it for a diesel because they're so popular in England. And I guess that was the English sort of version, if you will.
Yeah, if you read the magazine article when he first did it, he states that you know, he wanted to try a 15, a diesel on it, and then to make it more usable in the U.S., he lengthened the nose a little bit.
Yeah. Were you watching Monday night when I was telling y'all I got a new original Flight Street kit?
Yep.
Yeah, good. I'm happy to have that. And that'll be some inspiration for me to go ahead and finish the Cardinal, because that'll come right after. And the guy gave it to me. He's one of our old dudes. He's a Brodak distributor, and I can't just take a gift like that and not honor it with a proper build. And that's what I told him I'd do. So yeah, I gotta finish things and move along and get the assembly line back going.
Well, I got a guy in our club. We have a meeting in the morning. I was talking to him last weekend somebody showed up to the field one day and had a half-A stunt ship in need of repair. So we were talking a little bit, and he's going to bring it out tomorrow, and I'm going to bring out some of my half-A stuff. So you may see a half-A around me yet.
Okay. Oh,
What it is, I don't know. Won't know till tomorrow.
yeah, half-A's are big fun.
Yeah. He said it did not have an integral tank, that it had a separate tank. So
that's always the best way to go. I hate integral tanks. They're just too much opportunity for air leaks and mysterious reasons they won't crank, and they're what give half-A a bad name. The integral tanks. And here comes Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, everybody. Two hands up.
Something I want to show you guys.
Charles, I got a score sheet out today and started watching that flight you posted on YouTube. I was not scoring it. I was just making notes on it. And I hadn't gone all the way through it yet, though.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your effort.
Some of the things are so sublime that you may or may not agree with my observations. We'll see what you think of it.
Sure, absolutely. Like I said in the email, there's room for improvement, no doubt about it. And that was just where I was at that day, And I had some habits from having to manage the power above 45 degrees that have made things a little bit off. So now that I don't have to worry about that so much, I got to kind of get reacclimated to flying it without having to manage the power. And so that's I'm hoping to get better. I flew today, put in 5 flights today, and I was kind of playing around with the lead out position and tip weight, which wasn't something that I would have done before because I had bigger problems on my hands,
Yeah. I went all the way. Well, I went as far. I could not do takeoff and level apps because you just can't tell on the video. So I started with reverse wing over and went all the way through the outside square loops. And I just put a check mark by your inverted flight because I couldn't see any wavering, and that's something you can't tell on YouTube either. And the 3 inside loops, I couldn't really see any flaws there. The reverse wing over, I took note you overshot the number 2 pull up. The 3 outside loops, you slightly walked it to the right. You might have walked it on one and left it there, or I don't remember if you walked both of the consecutive loops or not on that. And the same thing, let's see. Oh, the inside square loops, you had a slanted up lines, which may be an illusion, and slightly rounded in some of the corners. But in the outside squares, I had you slightly walking to the same thing, slightly walking to the left and rounded. So, but I'm nitpicking.
Oh, I appreciate it. Trust me, everything you're saying resonates with what I've seen. The outside walking is I just have such a bad habit of creating a flat spot on top of the round.
Yeah.
The outside round. And so then it starts going to the left. I'm walking to the left. And it's like as if I finally wake up and close the egg or close whatever elongated jelly bean type of shape, And
I did notice a little bit of a flat spot somewhere in there too.
Yeah. That's something I have to diligently focus on when I'm flying.
Having all those light poles in the background is a big help for watching this stuff, though.
Yeah, they can be. They definitely can be. And there's a little bit of that is true with the outside squares too, just a little bit. Yeah, and as far as yeah, you know, the upside of the square, even when I'm watching it, because we're off angle, you're not sure if that's the hemisphere or was that
Yeah,
me.
that's right.
It's just because that we're not at the right spot to see it.
Yeah, it could very well just be an illusion, or the position rather, not an illusion, because it actually is real. You're flying in a curve the whole time, even when it looks flat. But yeah, this will be fun to do some of these, and it'll get me good at observing too, because I
Yeah,
have to practice.
I'll try to put a link in the chat box of where they can find that flight we're talking about. That'd be interesting for other people to see it.
Yeah,
As far as the takeoffs and landings, you're absolutely right. I mean, that field is that particular site is part of the park where I'm more and more going to be flying there. If you see some of my other older videos, I was flying at another part of the same park, and even when I was flying my top flight score, I was flying at another spot on the same park. So, um, but where I was flying, there was some rough patches because the grass thicknesses change. Some parts is kind of sparse and I can land because it's like a hard surface, and some parts the grass comes up thick because it's a different type of grass.
yeah,
Like a whole bunch of different kinds of grass there, and some respond to the lawnmower differently than, so it's not all even. And so what I'm trying to say is landing, I intentionally will pick a spot to land, where at a contest, you know, I would just come down gracefully, hopefully,
right.
and it's a
When
nice
you,
consistent. But when I'm
unless
landing,
you're,
I'm actually pulling the plane, I'm whipping it to get it to that side of the circle.
yeah, and when you do that, you can't help but induce errors into it.
Exactly. Then when I take off, I'm not even rolling more than 15 feet because the grass is going to get thick really quick. So I got to get the wheels off the grass. So that's kind of the problem I have when I transition from a practice mode to at a contest, because I'm flying on asphalt, which I haven't flown on asphalt since, you know, my last contest,
Yeah,
you know, which was with Dennis and I at the Palmer in May. So my next contest is most likely October, um, and I'll fly an asphalt there. So I'll try to get there a day or so early, just so I can get some reps, you know, taking off and landing on asphalt. It's a different thing altogether.
boy, that's one thing I learned to appreciate about asphalt, especially with my P40. That plane just takes off beautifully smooth.
Oh my goodness, does it ever? I
You
wish
can
I.
roll it out as far as you want or as short as you want, and it just creeps up into the air. And landing is a lot like that too.
It you know, Brodak. We're talking about the Brodak P40 ARF, by the way.
That's it. Yeah,
And that landing gear is at the right spot. And I
yeah,
find that I've learned with my nobler ARF that I was having problems with that taking off, and it was bouncing landing. And then once I welded the two wires, I brazed the two wires together, then that plane started landing uh, excellently. You
yeah,
know, it was just excellent, and I could just take off and lift off. And then when I came and landed, it was I had so much. You know, some planes, when they're not set up right, the margin of error is such a narrow alley that if you miss it, you can't get a good landing.
hmm,
You know, and then with the P40, it's like a neighborhood. I mean, you can just you
yeah,
know, you can just bring it down anytime, anywhere. But with my and then the Strega, it has an alleyway that I have to hit right. I have to have the speed right and the angle right, and then it'll land pretty good.
yeah. That P40's got a wing like a barn door, so but it's heavy enough to where it's not floaty either. So
Yeah, yeah. It's just such, and I really, man, I would just love to have a Brodak P40 because I just love even just flying it because of the silhouette. It looks like a real plane. It doesn't look like a fantasy ship.
Mm-hmm.
All these planes I've been flying, they don't look like a real plane. I mean, when I'm flying it, it's like it's a stunt ship. But that Rodak P40 off, it looks like a real P40.
Yeah. Ron, did you have something you were going to show us?
Yeah, I've got a solution to the problem of how to make your stunt ship nose nice and smooth and long and narrow. This goes back, way back. That is a Fox Long Nose 59.
That is a long one.
1949 or 1950.
Yeah, yeah. That engine is actually pretty much featured in that old time plane. That plane that's designed by Nakato or Tony Nakato. What's the plane called?
I wonder why they designed that nose so long.
Don't know, but hey, still ready to run.
That thing sounds nice and crisp.
Steve just joined us. How you doing, Steve?
Ain't that a Super Tiger?
That's a Fox Long Nose 59 from 19...
I figured a Super Tiger because the Italians have long noses.
All right.
How you doing, Steve?
Oh, pretty good. Working on my lawnmower. I don't know. The thing's a 78 or 79.
Okay.
So I had to change the points and condenser, and I did that. And I had a hell of a time getting the flywheel off, the bolt. I seen in a video that you poke like a nylon rope inside the cylinder, so I had something to hold, and I finally got it off. But now it backfires through the carburetor, and I'm wondering if I bent a valve or something.
Yeah, that could be.
Hey, Steve, I actually picked up a pair of those Zurich sunglasses.
Yeah?
Yeah, you told me about them, and what you said made so much sense, to go to a contest and spend, all the money out for a hotel and all that kind of stuff, or a car, or rent a car, and you don't have the right equipment, and you consider the sunglasses your equipment. That made a lot of sense. So I found one off of eBay.
Oh.
It's the kind that covers your glasses, and it's a shiny, reflective kind of chrome-looking ones.
Yeah, the darker ones, yeah.
And nice. I mean, it's
you get them at a good price, or?
Well, I think so. I paid $35.
35? Yeah. Hell yeah, you got them. I just bought that new pair for Samantha because she broke that one, and he gave me a deal at $69 plus shipping. So you really got a good price on them.
Yeah, there was a small scratch on it, he said, or she said, the seller. And I don't even know what they're talking about. I mean, so they're in great shape. And it's nice. When I do look up in the sun, I don't have that blindness that I've had before.
Yeah.
Where you can't see for a moment, And so that was a real good takeaway from one of the Google Hangouts probably months ago. You said that.
Yeah. Samantha broke that one pair, her dark pair. She's got a dark and a light, because if it's a little bit cloudy and like the sun's sneaking out, when it goes behind the cloud, I mean, them glasses are dark. They really cut, the stuff out, but your eyes will kind of get used to them. So she's got a light pair and a dark pair. So yeah, you got to be able to see the ground. You got to be able to see the airplane. And a lot of times you're flying loops right into the sun, depending on what time of the day you're flying.
Oh yeah,
so the top of your loop is into the sun, and then when you're coming down to the bottom, you can't even see the ground.
I know, and I would miss the wind just to avoid that, which I was hurting myself sometimes. Hey, Kevin, and so those glasses I hope will be an asset coming in October. That I will be kind of somewhat fearless.
I think they will be.
Fly where I need to fly.
Hey, Steve, I got a question about your lawnmower. 18 Stingray 1 asks if your flywheel key was partly sheared.
I don't think so, but I could maybe when I put it back on, I pushed out. I thought I got the key on there good, but yeah, it acts like it's out of time now, and it's like, well, what the hell did I do?
That'll happen, you know, if you partially shear one, that flywheel's just shifted not even a millimeter, but that'll throw the timing off. I didn't catch what you said the symptom or the problem was that you were working on.
It keeps backfiring through the carburetor.
Yeah, that'd sure do it.
I'll have to check that out tomorrow. Then I can pull it all back apart again.
That's not too hard. I mean, you get flywheel off and just check the key, you know, and throw it away, put a new one in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I didn't know what was going on.
That's a good idea.
But hell, I may have put the damn flywheel on and pushed the key out and just tightened it down. Who the hell knows what I didn't think about that.
Yeah, if that's happening, it'll get worse and worse pretty quick to where it won't run at all.
Well, it won't run now. It just goes kapoof, kapoof. But I figured I've never done nothing to that old lawnmower. I bought it used from my ex-mother-in-law in 1980 or 81. And she had it for I don't know how many years. This old John Deere. But the thing weighs a ton because I don't know, the base of it or whatever, that shit's made out of some thick metal. And it doesn't have no brake on it. And I love the mower because if I want to pick something up, I can let the mower go and get it and go back over and keep mowing instead of the damn thing shuts off and you got to restart it. And so I like the mower, but I don't know.
What power is it?
Pardon me?
Lawnmowers are made out of the meanest, hardest steel I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I was looking at a zero turn, and I see they got welded decks and stamped decks and stuff like that. And John Deere doesn't have welded decks. And I asked the guy at John Deere place, I said, well, you know, I kind of like the thicker deck and all that. You know, the sand doesn't wear them out and stuff. He goes, oh, you're going to wear out that deck. He goes, John Deere still is the only one with a press and even more big enough to stamp that really thick-ass steel. He goes, and a press deck on a John Deere is the same thickness as a welded deck on these other ones.
Yeah.
But
Stingray also says you might just take the nut and washer off and see. You might be able to tell if it's in line without having to take the whole flywheel off again.
That was a real pain in the ass. You got this spring on the condenser and you got to get 2 wires through it. I had a hell of a time getting them on there. But that's the first time I've set points on anything since probably 1978 or 79 when I had my 302 Maverick that I had to change points in that. That was the last thing I think I've ever changed points in.
I think you can buy a kit pretty cheap that's pretty simple too to replace the old style points and put an electronic ignition on it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I don't know if it's got to have does it have a magnet in the flywheel already?
Yeah, it's got 2 sets. It's got one on one side. It's got 3 magnets. Then the other side has got 2 magnets. And I don't know.
I don't know if they work with a flywheel like that or not. I don't know. You'd ask about it and find out though.
I don't know if the other 2 kind of, you know, because it fires every other time that it.
Well, it doesn't have to though. See, it's when you put the electronic on, it's got a wasted spark one, so it fires every time. It's just that there's no fuel in the combustion chamber when it comes around after the exhaust stroke. So that doesn't matter if it fires or not. That's how my Mazda was. It had a wasted spark type ignition, and they fired every time the cam came around.
Well, I figure that this thing must have a wasted spark. The only thing I can think of is that the other set of magnets at 180 degrees helps charge that condenser or whatever. So it gets a better spark or something. know
My
exactly.
father-in-law was one more expert, but I'm not. I just know how to take them apart and put them together. That's about it.
Could be on there to balance the flywheel too.
Pardon me?
It could be on there to balance the flywheel.
I was wondering about that too. Maybe
Yeah,
they're
I never
not.
thought about that. That's true.
They might not be magnets. Yeah.
Well, it might just be steel things over there to balance it. I never thought about that. That'd make more sense why they're 180 degrees apart.
Make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I never even thought about that. I just like, damn, this one had dual magnets.
Yeah. I bet that is what it is. One's a magnet, one's a counterweight.
Oh, okay.
You're probably the last remaining guy that can change points.
I tell you what, I was out there for like 3 hours because I had to heat up the nut to get the flywheel off. I couldn't get that nut off there. And then I watched a video and this guy said, well, if they're on there really hard, he goes, take a piece of nylon rope and back the cylinder off and feed some nylon rope till you can't feed it, then bring it up tight. And then I finally got my impact, and then it got it off there. But then I had one hell of a time getting the flywheel up off the crankshaft. That was all, it's been on there since like 1980, so, or before the 80s. So it's rusted in place. But that, and what I did wrong was I had some brake cleaner and stuff like that. I cleaned it all up and got all the grass and all of that shit stuck in there and old oil or whatever, It was nice and clean, and I cleaned it up, and now the damn thing won't run. Could have left it dirty.
Yeah. That sounds like working on Half-A's or Fox 35s or something. Clean them up and ruin them.
Yeah, I knew better because I'd done that. I was like, oh yeah, just soak these things, they clean right up, and then the son of a bitch has never run the same.
Yeah.
Like, shit, I should have left the damn thing black and it ran good. And
like changing the oil in your automatic transmission after 100,000 miles.
Oops.
You just completely put it to death, put it out of its misery because it doesn't have any stick anymore. Charles just posted the link to his flight that he and I were talking about earlier. If you go back and watch reruns before y'all came on, we were talking about his Strega flight from the other day.
Yeah, I watched it too. No.
I got a score sheet out and just started making notes on it as I watched it fly to bounce off of Charles and see if he agreed or disagreed or whatever. So a little second set of eyes on it is always good.
To me, where the camera was off on an angle.
Yeah, it was off. Yeah.
So it's really kind of hard to tell to me, it looked like on your squares that they were off from straight down.
Yeah.
But being on an angle, because you're actually flying in a, they look different from a different way, and it's hard to tell if they were really straight or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. It is hard.
Especially the left side of the square.
Yeah. Yes, the left
Yeah,
side
it was hard to see that, and then I was looking. But what you need to do is, if you got somebody watching, get your wife out there, Charles, or whoever. You need to make like a placard or whatever, and have it 2 foot high, 2 foot wide. Paint a line in the middle of it at 5 feet. Stick it on something you can poke in the ground.
Right.
And then have like you can buy these little cheap laser levels or whatever.
Right.
Stick that at 5 foot and get that card there and let people then film it and see where your bottoms are at.
Get the camera on the same level. You got to raise the camera until you're just right.
You'll be surprised. I don't care who it is flying. When you fly against them cards, what you think is a 5 foot bottom is not a 5 foot bottom.
Yeah, mine are close.
At the World Championships, I swear these, these guys were all flying 5-foot bottoms. And last year at the Nats, the Japanese guy was there with Kaz. And everybody's like, oh my God, his bottoms are so low. They're below 4 foot and all this kind of stuff. They kind of marked him down for it.
Right.
6th or whatever. When he was flying there, he was at 4.5 feet.
You can't put those placards up in the Pampa rules, but you can like in the FAI, I guess.
Oh, you can't do them in the Pampa rules?
Nah, not according to what I've been told.
Oh, wow.
Samantha says what it is that Samantha said she never did see him when she was flying.
Yeah.
She never saw him one time.
That's better for your observer to look at, I think.
Right, but that is where, and the other thing I noticed, and I told her about when she was flying her straight and level laps, that when she got them away from me, she was bringing them down, and then she'd come around and they'd be at the right height. Well, once they put the cards up there, she was flying straight the whole time. It's an optical illusion. And it really makes judging a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Because it
shows. One of the things that was hardest for me about my judging while I was learning is the difference in how high it looks on one side of the circle as opposed to when it's on the close side of the circle, especially since we were standing on a slope too.
Well, that's the other thing too, is that when I was watching, I'd crouch down, get on my knees, so like I'm sitting in a chair. That screws everything up too. When you're down lower, it looks like they're higher. When you stand up, it looks like they're lower. And I noticed at the World Championship, the judges stood. They didn't sit in a chair and judge.
Yeah.
So they could get the same perspective.
Yeah, a judge should never be sitting in a chair anyway. Some of the old dudes have to at the local contests and all, but you'll never see a high-level judge at an elite contest standing up. Sitting down in a chair. It's a safety issue as much as it is a observational issue.
Yeah.
We got two guys with their microphones shut off.
Yeah, I think Charles was talking on the telephone or something.
Yeah, I'm back.
They're both back. I'm gonna step away for just a second. I'll be right back.
All righty.
I figured Charles and Kevin maybe had beans tonight for dinner or something, and they had to put the mics on.
I was over at YouTube. I didn't want to get a double talking.
Yes, I know. I was gonna try to get my chat box back too. I want to. Thank you. There you go. Yeah.
Hey.
I thought she came to give me a kiss. She came to say hi to you.
She's driving. I seen a set of keys in her hand. I didn't know she was old enough to drive.
I had to get into the room.
Yeah, I try to lock them out so don't keep interrupting me.
Oh.
All right, see you guys later. Be good, all right?
Love you.
Love you too.
Have fun.
Okay, we'll do.
What?
And my internet is terrible today.
I was thinking that today was my last day of child support because Samantha turned 18, and that's what it says in the in the thing. So I called because the guy does paychecks and stuff like that. He said, I haven't got anything that says I can stop your child support. So I call them. They said, oh, it goes till the end of the month. I said, what? They said, yeah, it's a monthly thing. And since her birthday falls on the 3rd, it goes all the way to the end of the month. I'm like, now that's a bunch of crap.
I know. That's funny.
Hey, at least you're getting it stopped. My daughter ended up going to school and staying with her mom. I had to pay for it for another 5 years of college after she turned 18.
I refused. They wanted to do that. I'm like, ain't no way. And my lawyer argued it. And I said, my dad didn't have to pay for me when I turned 18. If I went to college or not, it was up to him, or whatever. I said, but I ain't giving it to, to her mom. I said, if you're going to make me pay, then I want that to go right to Samantha.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 18, so why not?
Right. So they finally dropped it and said 18, but they still hooked me for almost another month. And I complained. I said, they said, well, that's, because when it went into effect and stuff, a lot of times, she was like a year old. I said, oh, no. And I said, back pay into the third trimester. Because because what it was is that I paid for vitamins, checkups, all that kind of. She had no insurance, ultrasounds. I paid cash for all this kind of stuff, and I had it all. And I wrote everything in a check, so I knew exactly how much money I gave her through her pregnancy. And then once Samantha was born, I filed, and it took like a month for that to go through. Because I was the first one ever in Montcalm County to file for child support. So I had to pay child support. And well, I had gave her so much money that she didn't have any to give me back. And so they just said, well, the judges said, well, we're going back to this trimester or whatever. And we're going to set it up here. You're $600 in the rears. I said, what? How in the hell can I be $600 in the rear when I get, I paid for everything? Hospital bill, all that kind of stuff. And like, that's the way it is. So it's just, well, there goes a few more $1,000.
Wow.
Then they made me pay for DNA tests for me, for her mom, for Samantha, and her mom's boyfriend. I'm like, what? And I'm like,
I was out when this conversation started, but when I came back, it sounds like y'all have been divorced since Sam was born.
we were never married.
Oh, gotcha.
That was back in my drinking days, and guess where I met her at?
Bar.
Yeah, there you go. And I was never a hunter, well, a deer hunter anyway. When they did the ultrasound, she got pregnant opening day of deer season. But so I guess I should have went deer hunting. I don't know, but I would have had Samantha.
Should have went hunting that day.
Yeah, but then I went and had Samantha. It all worked out.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah.
Because I found out a month later I had prostate cancer, and then there was nothing after that.
So you've always had full custody of Samantha?
No, first I got her. I had to pay like $200 some a week, and I got her 2 hours on Thursdays, 4 hours on Sundays. And then I went back to court after she was done nursing or whatever, prove that she wasn't nursing. Then I got her Wednesdays for 4 hours, and every other Saturday and Sunday. And then went back to court again when she was doing drugs. Then I got her overnight on Wednesdays. How was it? No. Tuesdays I got her overnight on Thursdays. And then if I got her that weekend, then I got her that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then I had to take her home Sunday night. Then it worked out 50-50. And then she kicked her out 3 times. And so the last year and a half, she's just been living with me.
We got a new, well, not a new, but visitor that we don't see very often. And YouTube, I'm Mahmood from Wichita. And he's been in here with us a few times before. So welcome, Imam. How you doing tonight?
Yeah. We got to get these guys to get on camera. They can't be camera shy. I know not everybody can be.
They might not have enough bandwidth, or they might be too ugly.
No, not everybody can be as pretty as me, but at least get on.
Just kidding, guys. They might not have enough band. I'm looking over at the chat box like they can see me looking at them. So
If I don't break the camera, no one's gonna break it. So just get on.
Yeah, some people have a face perfect for radio.
yeah.
Yep.
There's a guy that works at the Arby's I stop at sometimes, and man, he's got a radio voice. It's just as deep and marshmallow as you can get. And thinking, damn, this guy's a shoe-in for a radio job. Or something.
Right.
You got to be able to open your mouth and just let your brain flow out of it to be a radio guy too. So, you know, you got to have the voice and that skill.
Right, right.
Yeah, what was it, Dave Matthews? We had a guy, well, it's called Wood Radio here in Grand Rapids. And they were like the #1 radio station forever until some rock and roll station took over. But they always had your morning drive reports and weather and all this kind of stuff. And I think it was Dave Matthews was the guy. He had this really kind of tenor voice, but I don't know. He was just really good on the radio. Well, come to find out, the twins I graduated with, Pasquino brothers, that was their dad. I'm like, why is his name that? And they said because they figured that Tony Pasquino wouldn't work on the radio, so they gave him a different name. They liked his voice. So, you know, he had a different name on the radio, but, you know, we see him at school and stuff. Everybody would get him to do his newscast or whatever, to hear him do that voice for the radio. But he was on there for years and years.
I'm just asking me how to get on to the video. He says he's got a phone with a camera. Are you a member? Give me a yes or a no. Are you a member of the Stunthangar control line forums, stunthangar.com? Because that's where we post the link to get into the video show. So tell me if you're a member of the Stunthangar control line forums, the aeromodeling forums. What you got in the box there, Steve?
This?
Oh, Kevin?
Oh, that's Kevin, not Steve. Yeah.
A device so I can record some of Wendy's.
Oh, cool. From VHS to DVD. I bet a lot of people are doing that these days.
Now, let me see that again, because I need to do that. So what is it? Is this a machine that you put the...
No, it's yeah, there, that worked, right? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you just got your RCA jacks and a USB port, plugs into your USB port.
So you play the VCR and then plug it into the computer or whatever and convert it to the...
Yeah, you just have to record like old time, you know? You can't do it fast.
Yeah.
You gotta play the whole thing out.
So basically, you hook that to your VCR and hit play, and then you run it to your computer.
Yeah, your computer captures it, and then you can play it on your computer, and then of course you can record. You know, also
you can either probably record to a file or directly to the disc. I would actually record to a file first if that's an option.
Yeah. I have the one that you have, Kevin, and I also have the Dazzle.
Which one was better? I had Dazzle a long time ago, but that didn't work very well. Well, that was
I recorded quite a bit of Wendy Wanowski VHS tapes and converted them to DVD. I even had an old Monaco Top Flight video they made, the VHS, and I recorded that to DVD. And yeah, they worked great. Yeah, they worked great. It's
I got the Cardinal phone.
How much is that, Kevin? What does that cost?
Oh, it wasn't much. It was like $15.
$15?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good deal. I think I paid like $49, $39.
Because we've been trying to do that a friend of mine's got it, but he said that he's having so much trouble that the voice and the mouth or whatever isn't in sync.
You don't have enough RAM or a big enough computer.
Yeah, yeah, mine came out really good, Steve. They work good. Yeah, I even did it for a friend of mine. He had some old videos he wanted, and I did that.
Well, I got a shitload of VHFs on covering, on silk span, on tissue for free flight that we're using, for covering. Bob Hunt videos. I don't know. I probably have 30 or 40 of them, but it's just a deal to where I want to put them on like a thumb drives, and if anyone else wanted it, they could.
Yeah, that's definitely doable. Yeah, I could do that.
To an external digital hard drive.
I don't know if you can send them. It'd be a big file if you could send them, over the internet, or because I have some really good tapes on.
It's too big to send over the internet.
Yeah, you can't do it in email.
Unless you captured it, then you uploaded it to YouTube. That's what Paul Taylor, CEO guy, is doing.
Yeah.
So he will play it and to his computer capture it, and then he uploads it to YouTube. So you can, doesn't matter how big it is for YouTube, but I can't email anything over 25 megabytes.
Nope.
Okay.
In my email.
Yeah, because I wanted to do it, so other people would have them. I can go get some of the tapes, that I got. I mean, it shows how to make a lost foam wing, and
yeah, I have that one already. I have the lost foam VHS tapes that I converted to DVD by Bob Hunt.
I have the one on molding, how to do molds with Billy Werwage.
Yeah, I think I have that one in DVD.
Oh, okay, and then
I can help you out with that. Maybe we could talk some more, and maybe we can work something out.
Hey guys, I gotta get up early in the morning, so I'm gonna pull the plug for tonight. See you guys Friday, and I'll watch the rest of you Sunday.
All right.
Hey Ron, I'll check you out next time, man. Look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, thanks for coming in and keeping me company when everything was looking so bleak there at first.
My pleasure.
All right. Good night, Ron.
Good night.
Well, here you go. That's why it was so cheap. Upgrade to DVD Plus. There's all the cool stuff. They'll sell it to you cheap and then charge you a fortune.
But yeah, this is full of videos.
Wow, Steve. Yeah, we can definitely hook something up. I mean, there's some videos I want to get that if you have them, I definitely would love to convert it to DVD, and we both could have DVDs.
Yeah,
it's a matter of trying to find the time to do that on top of everything else that I need to do. You know what I mean? I get my Blazer today, my check engine light comes on. My Cadillac has a check engine light, and I got to fix 2 cars. And I still got to build my Pathfinder, finish building that.
Hold on 1 second.
I can't seem to post into the chat box.
No.
Oh, there's a limit to how long of a post you can make.
Oh.
There we go. I'm trying to tell iMom how to join Stunthangar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he can get the link to the video. Okay, so I wrote, okay, iMom, I wrote, if you join the Stunthangar forum, stunthangar.com, then you can go to where I post a link to the video. You must register with your first and last name, and those 2 names must be separated by a space.
Right. I see it. That makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Probably makes
And
sense to him.
when you do register, let me know, and I will let the owner of the forum, his name is Sparky, I'll let him know so that he can confirm you. And Imam's been in here with us a bunch of times over the past 6 months or so.
Okay, cool. That'd be cool to have someone else come and join
Yeah.
in. I called it for another flyer, but he hasn't got back to me. I was inviting him to come join us. Arizona guy.
Ah,
So, Steve, did you ever talk to Samantha about coming in and talking to us and giving us? Oh, he's on the phone. Oh, Kevin, what's been happening with you, Kevin?
who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. We had a water pipe break in my wall, flooded out my kitchen.
Oh man.
Yeah, so dealing with that, running fans and heaters to dry out the place.
Oh, that's no fun.
All here. And so needless to say, I didn't get nothing done on my airplanes.
Yeah.
Shop was out there in front of the kitchen. So
Yeah.
they finally got that fixed. Now they got to replace the whole wall between the hallway and the kitchen. I guess it's been leaking a long time. The whole baseboard's completely rotted out. Covered in mold.
Yeah, that mold is not good for you. So good thing they found that out.
I got a gallon of bleach I've been pouring all over it, killing it off. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'll send you a link so if you're interested, you can watch the video I posted.
I just did.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. Watched it twice. I'll pay more attention to it when I watch it again.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that was July 30th, and you know, you see me fly the Strega, and I've been having to manage the power above 45 degrees, and that's a lot less of an issue. So I'm actually able to um, uh, fly a little bit unencumbered with that managing the power. You know, not being very smooth. I don't slow the plane down too much. You know, and
How are you out there, man? It's hotter than heck.
oh, when I got in the car that day, it was 108 after I got through flying.
There ain't no way I'm going flying in that.
And even like today, when I got in the car today after flying today, I put up 5 flights today. It was 99 degrees. You know, when I go flying, you know, I just kind of get in the zone and I feel the heat. I wore this shirt, as a matter of fact. It's kind of one of those, not an Under Armour, this is a Champion shirt, but it's, you know, it's one of those vapor shirts where it allows you to sweat, you know, and all that. So that seems to help. But, you know, I just get so focused that I recognize that it's hot. But, you know, I'm just so determined to get something done that I just stick it out. Now, that one video when I posted, I mean, I got in the car, I was just exhausted, you know.
Yeah, don't forget my trick of
Oh,
cooling
yeah,
down.
in my car, I got it all set up. I got the towel. I got a cool towel from Harbor Freight, and I got that green alcohol in my car. It's all there. I just haven't really,
Yeah.
I just haven't didn't need it. And then my hat allows me to breathe a little bit, you know, and so I'm comfortable enough to tolerate it. The heat doesn't really, I feel it, but I'm not thinking about the heat. I'm thinking about um, how I can get this plane to fly a little bit better so I can beat Dennis Nunes.
What kind of hat do you wear?
Um, Downstairs, but it's
Like a ball cap?
no, it's the company's called On Any Sunday or Any Sunday Afternoon. That's the brand, and then the hat I wear is called a charter hat.
Is
And
that
so
like a bucket hat or something?
Huh?
Is that like a bucket hat or something?
Let me just go get it.
Okay. Minnesota Mike's got a couple of projects going. He says he's building a 788 square inch ramrod free flight plane with the Nelson 36. Holy crap. I bet that'll climb like a homesick angel. And then later he posted, that was back when I was texting back and forth with Mahmoud, says he's got a 6-foot wingspan rubber plane, 36 strands of 1/4 inch rubber, turns it 1,600 times to wind it up. Guess you got to have a winder with a clicker on that. Spin it up. I remember those little American Juniors we used to get at the toy store when we were kids, and I'd wind them and wind them and wind them until the whole rubber band got knotted up, and then I'd watch the knots grow back all the way. And let me make you big so I can see now. That looks like
He's got
yeah, that's what I would call it. Yeah, I like that.
It breathes around the top. There's all holes around here, nice fine holes, and
That's good.
it's a nice looking hat. You know, I really like the hats that Joe Gilbert wears.
And it cuts down the glare for the judges too, right?
You know, it just you know, I wear so many baseball caps. You know, I mean, it's like I still wear them sometimes when I'm flying, but you know, your ears aren't covered. You know, ears aren't protected. You know.
Yeah.
And some of those guys that we fly with, when they're getting skin cancer on their ears and stuff, that's what happened. I think Joe Gilbert's why he went to Federa hats.
Yeah, my brother, he's got one that has like a flap, just like that, but it has a flap in the back to cover the back of his neck.
I have one of those too, and you know what? I didn't like that because you know what? I rely so much on feeling the wind back here that was really a deal breaker. I was like,
right. I feel the wind on the back of my neck too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I even bought an AMA hat. You know, it has the AMA logo and everything. I thought it'd be cool to wear that hat, and I went out to the flying field, and I was like, "Where's the wind?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that gave me so much anxiety. I couldn't get that hat off quick enough."
If my hair's standing straight out in front of my face, I know it's windy.
On a big sock on top.
Yeah, if I was younger, I could feel my afro was really sensitive when I was younger. I had a big afro, and if I had my hair, I could feel the wind push my afro forward. I'd know where the wind was at.
Oh yeah.
Minnesota Mike says the secret to winding those rubber bands up is to coat them with Son of a Gun. Son of a Gun is like Armor All.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
In
Yeah,
fact,
I talked to Samantha Charles.
I've got a 30-year-old spray bottle of Son of a Gun that I use for defoaming my fuel with.
But yeah, I talked to Samantha. She said she'll get on, but she's at her mom's tonight, and they don't have any internet or anything up there.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'd love to talk to her.
But yeah, on some of these videos, I mean, it's like how to make your own control horns, plastic uniflow tanks. I don't know what's the Japanese tissue one. That was really good. Wing and fuselage alignments.
I'd love to see that one. I'd love to get that one.
Yeah, I watched some of that, how he uses strings, and he does all kinds of stuff to his table. And
you know what? Who has a good video about that too? Is Rusty has a good video on the alignment. He bought a jig from somebody, right, Rusty?
Yeah, actually, he gave it to me. That was from Walter Umlin.
Yeah, now I really like that video. So if anybody listening, that would be a good video to search Rusty's channel on. He does a really good job.
Yeah, it's on the one of the playlists on the main front page of my channel. But that came in handy, and it's nothing you can't do with a ruler and a piece of string tied to a pin, you know, and stuck in the fuselage, and then go back and forth and measure one place to another. But it's convenient, and so it's an alternative to that.
Yeah, I do it the way Winnie Unowski does it, and that's worked for me. I think on this next build, I'm actually going to cut the fuselage in half the way the way Sparky does it. I'm really thinking about do it that way for in the future.
Oh,
you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, then slipping it over the wing.
At the bottom out.
At the high part of the wing, Sparky cuts the fuselage in half, puts the front on, I think, first, then the rear on. And unlike Windy cuts those pie cuts and drops the wing into the fuselage. And from the bottom, where it's Sparky, he cuts it straight through the high point of the wing, the fuselage in two pieces, and joins it that way.
I think
what I did one time is
I like that way.
I just cut out for the horn and the side of and just slid the thing in and then put that little patch back in it.
Okay.
You know,
that'll work too. Yeah, that'll work too. Yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Hey, John Sanchez, I see your chat there, and thanks for becoming a subscriber to my channel. I hope you appreciate it. Hope you enjoy it. I mean,
oh hey, I didn't know.
And I'm not near any fire. Well, there was a fire out there, and closer to Kevin's. Actually, was closer to a fire than I was. But you know, it's still early, and I'm willing. I don't have a fire close to me. There is quite a bit of fuel, not too far from me. So yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. I've been close the last couple of years, but 4 or 5 years ago, I was evacuated for a big fire. So
well, make sure you pack your airplanes in your car just in case you got to take off fast.
I know exactly. I probably packed my Strega and that K-77, and let me see what else. And then my wife, all she wants to take is all the pictures.
I'll tell you what, if you get a hold of, I don't know if you can get a hold of Joe Gilbert, but he ran that K-77 at the World Championships with a pipe. It ran nice. It ran real nice.
I do need to talk to him. You're right. Yeah, and then Joe Gilbert's a nice guy and kick in the pants. He had me in stitches the whole time I was in Brodax.
Yeah.
And
so
Kevin, you're a new subscriber. Thank you, Kevin.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, Bob Bishop's back. He had to go work on something early on in the show, and he finally made it back.
Yeah, so John, I'm in Escondido, California, which is a little bit north of San Diego. So I'm talking to John Sanchez. So I'm a little bit north of San Diego, and thanks for your concern. Yeah, fortunately, but if you watch my video, the last one I posted, the first thing you hear is the fire engines.
The first time I listened to your video, I was sitting in the waiting room at dialysis the other morning. They were running late. It was Monday morning. And so I pulled my phone out. I'm going through my email, and I saw your email, and I pushed the link. And before I got the phone oriented and the picture flipped around, I couldn't see what was on the screen. And all of a sudden, the volume was all the way up, and it was fire trucks and horns and engines. And I'm like, good Lord, what's going on? And I fumbled it, and finally muted it as fast as I could, and then got it oriented.
I could have edited it out. I get so anxious to post something new.
Yeah.
I don't always. I might have been able to. I have a what's it called? I have a video editing software. I mean, there's so many ideas I have, but it just takes it's so time consuming, you know. And for what, you know? So I didn't bleep that part out, but it's very short. But there is a fire truck horn blast right at the front of my video.
Yeah.
So be warned.
Well, I thought maybe you weren't supposed to be at that field. I'm like, oh shit, they're coming to get him.
But you know what? Yeah, that's right. You know, and they see a brother out there flying. They go, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
That's the kind of commotion that happens when I go flying. No, actually, where my flying field is, it's a to get out to east of Escondido, where the fire was. That's the only road. So I mean, that whole day was fire truck after fire truck. You know, I mean, I saw about at least. I had a friend there who was watching. He actually is a fire volunteer, and he counted like 8 battalion fire chiefs, and then there was heavy equipment going and all kind of fire trucks that were heading east. And I'm not sure, Kevin, if that was in El Cajon or Ramona or what that fire was, but there was a lot of activity going on, and so that was what was going on. But I'm so used to it. Yeah, I don't even. I mean, I do sometimes pray for the first responders, and I pray for their safety and well-being. And but besides that, I'm so used to it. And then where I live is the main thoroughfare, and so I have fire trucks going up and down there all the time too. And I'm not too far from the main hospital, also. So it's I hear fire trucks all the time, or ambulances and police all the time.
I miss flying at Fort Jackson, where we flew to the backdrop noises of grenades and machine guns and soldiers running around in the woods shooting at each other. And
I never seen it, and I was like, "What's going on?" I saw those.
it was so fun. It was so cool.
Full armor, full gun weaponry, and I was like, "What's going on?" Wow.
Yeah, we were flying air support that day. But and then that day I went out to the field and there's an Apache landed on it, and it had gotten a hydraulic warning light and put down on the field. It is a designated LZ, and so I was not going to approach that Apache crew. I just waited until they came over to me, and I told the guy what I was going to do. Control line. He knew what that was. And
Cool.
well, you fly at your end of the field, we'll work on the chopper at our end of the field, and we'll be fine. And later in the day, they were taking a lunch break, and I was flying the shoestring, still learning the beginner pattern, and the muffler came off. It shot the stinger end of the 762 muffler off.
Right.
Just pressed on, apparently. And so I was walking the circle looking for that stinger, and one of the guys comes walking up to me with something in his hands, tossing it like a hot potato back and forth. He said, "Is this what you're looking for?" I couldn't believe how long that thing stayed hot. But sure enough, he had the tail end of my muffler.
Yeah, I actually lost so many mufflers. Not lost, but have mufflers come off my planes. It's almost like a running joke between my old flying buddy. I haven't seen him in a while, but I had a Super Tiger 51 on my top flight score, and the mufflers kept coming off, and it was just like a running joke. But with the Strega, that Stalker motor, that muffler has only come off one time.
That same muffler later on was on the old Dirty Bird Skyray, and I was flying it up at Huntersville. First time I'd ever been to Huntersville was a week before the first contest I entered, and I was flying it on the grass field up there, and it shot that rear end of the muffler off again, and it went off into the woods on the side, and it's never been seen since.
So you've been getting a lot of rain there? I seen that they were calling for flooding and stuff yesterday.
It rained like a son of a bitch today. We got 3 inches in the past 24 hours, and most of it was this afternoon between I'd say between 5 and 8.
Yeah, that's what caused me had to spend an extra day there in New Jersey, was all that damn rain last week, and now you guys are getting it again. And
I didn't go check and see if my shop's flooded, but when I go out there tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if I have to fire up the wet vac.
Sure.
But I keep anything that I don't want wet off of the floor, so It's not that big a deal, but it's a royal pain in the ass, especially when you're only on 1.5 legs.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen today they said that Spain tomorrow may hit the highest temperature ever registered in the country.
Wow.
It was like 39 degrees Celsius or something. I'm like, holy shit. Just
That's about 100 degrees or so.
120 or something?
No, it can't be that high.
I'm not sure.
No,
What did you say? 39
Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
9 degrees Celsius equals 102.2 degrees.
102.2.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I can still fly in that. That's no big deal.
5 times
I'm surprised the airplane even turns in that damn thin of air.
5 times Celsius divided by 2 plus 32 is the conversion from Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Oh no.
Yeah, Mike says Minnesota Mike says he's been averaging 105 for weeks. Wow, Mike. Yeah,
What's the humidity? What's the humidity at 105 degrees?
I don't know.
Like out here, it's been like 85, 90%. It's been miserable.
Yeah, that's about what ours has been too. It's muggy and buggy.
It hasn't been too muggy for me out here. It's more of a dry heat.
Yeah, Bob
I get up
Bishop.
at 2 in the morning then.
Bob Bishop says it was pouring rain for about 4 hours straight today. He's in Florida. No, where's Bob? I can't remember where Bob is. Ron's in Florida, right?
I don't know.
Oh,
Kevin, I couldn't hear you because Rusty is talking at the same time, Kevin.
what did I do?
I didn't understand what you said. I heard you laughing, but I didn't capture what you said because Rusty and you were talking at the same time.
I was laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even notice.
I have to watch the rerun then. I'm sure it was funny. Something about in the morning, I think you said. Something about in the morning.
Oh yeah. Because I go to work. I go to work 2 in the morning, and it's like it was only 75 degrees out, but it was so humid. It was pathetic. It was just everything was wet. And then it gets really nice at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock out here. Then after 10, it just gets miserable.
Oh, shit.
Okay, let's see. The YouTube's like on a delay, huh?
Somebody named American Bulldog Rocky asked us if this is the Weather Channel. I replied, yeah, Bulldog occasionally because we can't fly in rain, so we just yak about it.
Well, that's the biggest thing about control line flyers. They don't give a shit about the temperature. What's the winds?
Yeah.
I can never tell you what the wind is going to be for the day.
I know the wind. Yeah, I was flying today and it got kind of gusty. I mean, wind gusts are only. I mean, I might sound like a wimp, but it was only like around 9 to 10 mile an hour wind gusts. But it was something strange about it. My plane was just acting weird. So, but yeah, I've flown in higher winds than that, but it wasn't that clean air for some reason. It was dirty air. Yeah, and we're very important to us control line guys. Yeah, wind is more of a deal breaker for me than it is the temperature. If the temperature is high, I don't care. But if the wind is amicable, I'll just stick it out because you never know. It could be a beautiful day, and next day and it's windy, and you can't fly.
And the wind at the field is always higher than what they predict on the weather forecast. I don't know why that is, but if they predict a 5 mile an hour wind, usually you go out to the field and it's closer to 8 or 10 if you carry a pocket. You got a pocket anemometer, don't you, Charles?
Yeah, I do. I do. That's why. That's how I knew what the wind was today.
Yeah, I
And
hate trying to guess what speed the wind's blowing because I know I'm probably exaggerating sometimes.
sometimes it feels. That's why I bought that animator so that I would know and have a sense of what I've flown in before.
Yeah.
I can
Or
kind of have.
sometimes it's a whole lot different 60 feet over your head than it is
Oh
right
yeah,
near your face, too.
yeah, yeah. I was actually was surprised that my Strega was actually was getting pushed back. It was slowing down on
No
the overhead
kidding.
eights. On the overhead eights, it was slowing down, and on the outside part where I was actually heading into the wind, and I was just trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, man, I figured that Strager would power right through most wind.
It usually does. I don't know what was going on today. It was a little bit disconcerting.
Have you got a open vent for Uniflow pointed into the wind?
No, I have a muffler pressure, and so it's all closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like at the last year at a contest. I noticed how it was speeding up, and slowing down going into the wind, and
Slowing down going into the wind. Yeah, it's opposite what you would want.
yeah, and so gentleman told me to um, seal it up, do muffler pressure, and you won't have that problem. So I did
Well,
that.
if
And
your engine doesn't like muffler pressure, you can hide the Uniflow intake behind the engine backplate or somewhere where the air pressure doesn't vary with the wind. That's next best solution, I guess. Some engines don't like muffler pressure.
yeah, that's what I've heard. My Strega, excuse me, the stalker on the Strega. When I first hooked up the nipple on the muffler and I hooked up the tube to it, it sounded like it was constipated. It didn't like it, but I just kept drilling out the ID of the nipple
Oh,
that I put
really?
into the muffler, and then I even found larger nipples at the hobby store, and I just kind of just kept playing with it until I had the kind of performance I wanted.
That's something I've never experimented with.
Yeah, and they have different. The Dubro has like 3 different sizes.
Yeah.
I have the largest size in my Strega.
They all have the same threaded insert to screw in, or is that bigger too?
Um, the largest one is a larger thread,
Is it?
but it's not a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to just re-drill the hole that's there and re-tap it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pipe tap anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You don't even have to tap it really. You could just because
Yeah.
my muffler is very soft.
Right. It's such a thin piece of metal you're going into.
Now, is your contest this weekend, Charles?
No, I don't have one until October. I'm just I mean, there is a contest this month. I think Kevin, you know about the High Johnson? Is that this month?
The High Johnson. No, I know we got the Fun Fly on the 25th.
Yeah, the Sepulveda Valley
Oh,
Circle.
Olvida. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're gonna have, well, if they can get a CD. They're hoping to get a CD, and so that there could be one there. But the one I'm really looking at is the Golden State. Yeah, I'm having to count my nickels, so I'm just kind of allocating all my resources to the Golden State.
Is that the Valley Circle Burners?
Yeah. I got an email from Dave Hall, and he was talking about having the High Johnson because the joust was canceled by the other club, the Knights of the Round Circle. I think they figured, wow, there might be some momentum they can capture from that cancellation.
Oh, yeah. October 6th and 7th.
Oh, really? Oh, is that far out? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess my next contest for sure is the October 20th.
So that's right before the Golden States.
Yeah.
And then right after the Golden States is Las Vegas.
Right.
It's going to be a busy 2 months.
I don't know if I can do Las Vegas. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do Golden State, but I think I want to go to Vegas.
Yeah, everybody should come out to the Golden State. That is a great contest.
Yeah, I should.
Did you say Vegas, Kevin?
Yeah.
Is that Dane Martin's contest?
Yes, sir. Dean will be out at Whittier on the 25th.
Hmm. And if you, Dane is the master monocoder. That sucker can put monocoat on and make it look like the plane's painted.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I met Dane at the Southwest Regionals for the first time, and yeah, I was so preoccupied. It was my first time there in Arizona, and so I wish I would have known that. I probably would have paid attention to his what I thought might have been the painted plane, and found out that it was monocoat. Maybe, I don't know.
He's got a bunch of videos on it on YouTube.
Yeah, he makes it look really easy, but it's not.
Yeah, it sure does.
You know, that was like when I was a kid, a guy named Ed White, he worked for Top Flight. Well, monocoat was made about 5 miles from where I live now. So that's about 17, 18 miles from Grand Rapids. But he did all the monocoating for every plane you back then when you seen pictures of it for Tower, they come out with a new airplane. He'd build it and cover it. I mean, he was just a master. He could do a fuselage layout, trim. It looked like it was painted. I mean, everything was just perfect. And how he did it, I don't know.
Yeah,
like the seams and everything were so straight, and mine are always like.
I guess they must use clear coat to cover those seams up and make them invisible too, where you like where the top and bottom wing panels overlaps, and they can make those so you can't even tell there's an overlap there.
If you look real close, you could see it, but yeah, it was because he did it one way, and then he'd wrap it so it was off the top of the wing.
Yeah.
It all meshed, you know, and if you really looked, you could see the overlap, but it was hardly anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow. But yeah, he was just a master at it. And I seen him about 5 years ago, and he wouldn't say who he was working for, but he was doing something with drones for the military.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know exactly what he was doing, but he was working with because he was RC, you know, pilot, and so yeah, he's either flying them or doing something. I'm not sure. That was like 5 years ago, but he's got to be way up in his 70s now.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard of Lewis Rankin. Is supposed to be phenomenal as far as monocoat guy. You heard of Lewis Rankin? I've never met him.
Name. I had no idea of anything about it though.
Yeah, supposedly he can monocoat a tennis ball.
Well,
yeah. One thing I did see with one time I watched him kind of do a showing in how he monocoated, but he had like a foot of monocoat left on all sides. Man, he grabbed that and it was like Dane how he does it. They don't apply the heat where you want it to go. If you watch on Dane's videos, he'll get that stuff and not even have it stuck down, and he'll flap it, and he can step it up, and it'll just lay there. And then once he has it all done, then he irons it down. It's crazy how they shape that stuff before they even hook it down to the model. But that was like with Ed. It just kind of like flopped over the whole wing, and it wasn't stuck to anything. Just in the center, and he'd pull out all the wrinkles.
Yeah.
You know, and everything, it looked perfect, and then he just ironed it in place. And it was like, I tried, and I can't do it.
I can do it. I'm actually really good at it. But you know, I rarely ever use a gun. I always almost do it completely with the iron. And I just try not to glue it to the rib tops if I can help it. But when I have to get the gun out to get a little bit of wrinkle out of the wing somewhere where I just can't do it with the iron, I'll end up gluing it to the rib tops. But it's better if you don't.
Well, I tell you, I've tried. I mean, my Nobler with the red and white and checkerboard, that's Ultra Coat. But I've investigated. Yeah, I have a book here. I know it's probably reversed, but this is by Faye.
It's not reversed.
It's not
No.
Faye Staley, and I had like 2 books from him on how to monocoat. I mean, so I, would do my best effort, but I actually did a lot of research. Not to mention the Top Flight tape on putting monocoat on, and I've watched so many YouTube videos on how to put film on, and I definitely I think my Nobler, even with its garage rash, got like 13 points for appearance points, but it was an ARF. So,
well, one thing I did find out is that I am good at is ironing a warp into the wing.
Into the wing, yeah.
It doesn't take much effort to do that.
Oh, doesn't it? I thought, I'm like, damn, I can do that. I can change the shape of a wing when I get done monocoat, and it's like, look at that.
Yeah. I think these guys here, they actually will heat the film up and then apply it. If they want to do a curve or a concave curve, they heat the film, and then it's much more pliable to go, as opposed to putting pressure on the frame.
Yeah.
They heat up the film so that it's pliable and it'll make that curve, as opposed to pulling it and then you end up twisting your airframe.
It's usually different using monocoat as opposed to ultra coat too, because with ultra coat there's 2 distinct temperatures, one for adhesion and one for shrinkage. And with monocoat, the adhesion temperature and the shrinkage temperatures overlap. So you gotta, it's a different learning experience depending on which one you got. You just can't jump from one to the other and expect it to act the same when you put it on.
But yeah, if you get a chance, Charles, get on YouTube, Dane Martin's, and on his kitchen table in his apartment, he's doing a ringmaster. And where the plywood nose pieces, go around the wing, there's that step.
Right. Yeah.
You should see how he does that step. It ain't even glued down. He just pulls it back, and it lays there, and the step is in the monocoat before he ever irons it and glues it down. It's crazy. It's like, so there is no pulling. Same with wingtips. It shows him do a wingtip, and he can just flop it up, and it'll flop right back over, and it'll be perfect. Then he irons it in place.
I will do that. I actually have seen him, his videos before, and with the white film. I remember seeing that, but I'll watch it again. But I'm getting toward a point now where it's like I'm gonna start painting more and more of my airplanes.
Does he use a heat gun at all?
No, I think just the iron.
Hang on. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Some people use both. Some people use mostly one or the other. Just depends on how you're good at it.
But, I was going to talk to Charles about it too, but I really think that the big deal is keeping them light. And from what I've seen, they're in the World Championship. These guys flying big airplanes that weigh 1,500 grams, they're saying.
Yeah.
Some are a little bit lighter. I mean, that's with battery up, everything. 53 ounces or something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah. It's in the low 50s.
Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy for something that's 700 square inches or whatever.
Yeah. Well, 1,500, if you round to 30, is exactly 50 ounces.
Oh, okay.
So it's what, 28.9 something or something like that.
So, you know, and the other thing some of them guys were doing, it looked like they monocoated and actually painted on stuff on top of the monocoat.
Yeah, some people do. You got to deglaze it a little bit somehow. I guess you can do with that with like Scotch Brite pad or something. Mask it off and deglaze it and then paint it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that looked, but yeah, I just, how they're making these models so light, I don't understand how they do it, but yeah, when you knock a pound off an airplane, it definitely flies different.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, it's, I don't know, I'm looking in, I haven't heard back from Ortiz yet, but there's a guy in Uzbekistan or something that's building a take apart airplane, and they say it's really nice. And it's like 800 some bucks with a case, everything.
That sounds like a pretty reasonable deal if it's a quality plane.
Yeah, they said he was selling for 500 some, but I don't know, money different money or whatever.
Yeah,
I know
exchange rate.
Kaz was doing something with him, and he's ordered 10 of them already. So
10 of them. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, they kind of look like the Shark, basically, how it's built.
Are they completely finished and painted, or you got to do all that?
I think it comes in white. It's like the base coat, and then you can you can finish it.
Right.
But they said then we're finishing out between 1,500 and 1,600 grams, and some of them were lighter. So I don't.
Is it silk span or?
No, it's all composite. It's like the Shark. Somehow they do a composite wing, and
yeah.
But they were saying that that you probably could even get them to where he'd have all the wings, the take apart system all hooked up, all that kind of stuff. Then you could build the fuselage, just to get in pieces and build the fuselage, and then put everything together, and even make it, build with a model.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, I don't know if we go to FCM. I don't know if we're gonna take her model that we got now, or we're gonna start stripping it down and take something different. But we're gonna strip that whole airplane and try to make it lighter. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, hopefully. I just got to get so much work done around the house, get the yard all done, and get my lawnmower going.
What's that old red and white and blue wing propped up behind you, Steve?
That's a score. I was going to put it together, but that thing's going to weigh a ton. I mean, I weighed all the parts and shit, and that's going to be like, I don't know, close to 70-ounce airplane. It has a big wing and stuff, but that thing's going to be heavy. So I was going to try to use it as a take apart for Samantha, but it was just going to come out too much weight. So
yeah.
But I'll throw it together. I got it at a good price and found it at a swap meet. I think I got it for $100.
Have you already got the flaps hinged on it?
No, they're just the pockets are all cut. I cut because it comes with
DA hinges.
Yeah, so I cut the pockets. All the hinges are in it. I put a new bell crank in it and new lead outs, and I got that in there. So it just has to be put. I mean, it's simple to do because if you want it together, you just put some glue on it put the screws in it, and it holds itself in place.
Yeah.
You know, it's a easy one to put together, and I got it. You know, all the hinge pockets cut. I could probably have it. I got the engine all mounted and all that kind of stuff, but I haven't did much more with it because I haven't got a pipe. But what I did is that for the Evolution 60 here, I mounted it on a 45, and then I got a header that'll come out and run a pipe down the belly of the airplane. So that was going to be what we tried a pipe motor on, but I just haven't got it done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I got so much stuff going. I'm gonna.
Do y'all know anybody by the name of Hy Johnson?
Yeah.
Back when we were talking about something, I don't remember now. Bob Bishop wrote, Hy Johnson used to be a regular at Sepulveda Basin in L.A. Nice guy. He said his engine factory was close by as well. The old Valley Scrappers meetings were held there for a while. I forgot what we were talking about when he posted that. It's been about a half hour ago now.
There's somebody making the Hy Johnson Stuka.
Yeah, it's Dane Martin, isn't it?
Huh?
Dane, isn't it? Dane Martin?
I don't know who's producing that kit right now.
Oh, I think Dane's making one.
Oh, is he making one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for like a Fox 35 and stuff. So, but yeah, the Hy Johnson Stuka. That was a famous, I guess it's classic. Be a classic airplane. I don't think it's old enough for old time. And then I know that Brodak makes a Stuka too, and I'm not sure which one that is. But I guess
those models have the dihedral wings like a real Stuka, do they?
No. The only one I ever seen do that was a guy from New Jersey there.
Jacobone.
Yeah, Jacobone. He did that Stuka, but damn thing weighed like 90 ounces or something. It was crazy heavy.
Wow. Yeah, now Wendy said that he didn't have the landing gear right, and that's why he didn't fly very much, because it didn't land very well.
Well, I talked to him. He said about pulled his arm off. He said that airplane with that 90 and it pulled so hard that it wasn't fun to fly.
Yeah, that's I don't like planes that pull that hard. My plane that pulled hard was not my Strega, it was my top flight score with the Super Tiger 51. That thing pulled like a freight train.
Yeah, that's why I haven't finished that score of mine. We're just talking about that with Rusty. That
when I was on the phone, I didn't know what you guys were talking about, so I missed all that.
Yeah, he was asking me about the wing. I got it all hinged. I mean, how I could probably have it all glued together in a day. You know, because it bolts. The wing goes in there and bolts in, and just glue it and, you know, put glue on it, bolt it in place, get it all lined up, and let it set overnight. And
yeah, it's a good flying plane, just a heavy plane. Even though my Strega is heavier, but my Strega has more wing area, so it carries the weight better than than my top flight score does. But they both are good flying planes. I actually have another. I actually ended up retiring my score because the upright on the flap horn broke. It just fractured off.
wow.
During flight, I was flying, and all of a sudden, you know, I was pulling up, and the plane wasn't responding, and I stopped doing maneuvers, and then when I finally got down on the ground, I was moving the controls, and I saw that the only thing I was moving was the elevators.
Oh.
And the flap horn upright was floating in the air. So all the linkage was connected, but just not connected to the flaps.
Wow.
And it would have been too much work for me. I mean, the payoff wasn't worth it, so I just cut the plane up. I cut the fuselage up basically. I kept the wing. So I have the wing in my closet.
Exactly. That's my Nobler.
What was that again?
I had my Nobler, the elevator, the rod. Yeah.
What? A friend of mine had a Legacy, and he had problems with the control system, and that something happened. It got tight. I don't know if it was a belt, the ball links or whatever.
Yeah, probably the ball links.
But he took the thing apart, got rid of the fuselage, built a profile fuselage, put the wing and tail and everything back in it. That thing flies great.
Yeah, I've been entertaining doing that. Also, that's why I got a Nobler wing and a Top Flight Score wing for that same reason. I might one day make a profile or another fuselage.
A biplane profile, 2 different wings.
A biplane. I like that idea.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna hit it because I got to get up at 6.
All right, man. Well, it's always good to see you, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
We got a tour to Michigan tomorrow. I'm not gonna fly in it or nothing, but I got to bring John's electric setup, Igor's setup to him there. It's like a 2-hour drive there and a 2-hour drive back. I think the dog needs to go outside. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently so.
So I might as well get on off and get some sleep.
Okay.
All right.
I think I'm going to go ahead and sign the show off too because it's midnight.
9 o'clock, or it's almost midnight for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I had such a hard time getting signed in tonight. I think I'll do a test run over the weekend and make sure I can still sign in. I blew something up in my browser today trying to fix another problem, and I didn't think we were going to have a show tonight. And
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on. I was waiting and waiting.
yeah, it ended up about a half hour late, but I finally got it to work. I'm not sure what I did to screw it up, and I'm not sure what I did to fix it. But, the way I got it working was not the way I usually get it going, so I gotta check, make sure we're okay. But it's working now, so something's right. So, but
right.
anyway,
I'll try to get on Monday night. So
okay.
hopefully see you guys then.
Yeah, thanks y'all, all y'all for
Get some flying in this weekend.
thank all of y'all for coming in. We appreciate it. That applies to you YouTubers too. I thank y'all for coming in and hanging with us. And until Monday, y'all have some fun so you can tell us about it. And till then, fair winds, tight lines, and we'll see you later.
See you guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.